Welcome everyone to the third ever Market One showcase, focusing on what we see as the future of Martech and maybe even the future of marketing itself. We are going to go through 6 demos. Each presenter is going to have 5 minutes to demo their product. Then I'll ask a question, either that I thought of and I'm dying to ask, or that comes through in the chat. First up, we have ADIO, and I don't think the future of CRMs looks like HubSpot or even Salesforce. I actually think it looks like ADIO. And we have Nicholas Sharp, the founder, here to show us the product and specifically how to research inbound leads and automatically set up a workflow based on that data. So, Nicholas, we volunteered you to go first. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, good morning. Very much looking forward to showing everyone ADIO, a next generation CRM that is crazy powerful, flexible, and very, very easy to use. And so today I'm just going to demo some super powerful automations that you can build, go-to-market automations. And for this demo, I'm going to be the founder of an imaginary company called BasePoint. And BasePoint is a product-led growth company. And so in this demo, we're going to be looking at leads, which are really people signing up for our product. And then we're going to decide how to sell or market to them based on nothing but some very, very basic data that they provide in their sign-up flow. So, first thing you'll notice here is that all of the data in ADIO is completely automated. So none of this data has been filled in by a human. This is all enrichment data that happens automatically, really nothing to do. As soon as a company or contact is created in ADIO, everything is done for you automatically. And on top of this data set, you can build super powerful automations. So I'm just going to jump into an automation I built earlier. And the idea of this automation here is that when someone signs up for a product, we are going to research that company. And we're then going to decide how to market to them or how to sell to them. And that's as easy as just telling our research agent the questions that are important to you in the sales process. So in this case, are they venture backed? Have they raised any money? And asking what their business model is. So the research agent will then go and do that work for you. It will make internet searches. It will crawl the web trying to answer these questions. Once it's answered those questions, we're just going to ask another AI block whether this matches our definition of an ICP, an ideal customer profile. And if it does, we're going to switch between 3 different options. So in one case, we're going to enroll them in a sales sequence. And in the other case, we're going to put them into customer IO, to put them into a transactional marketing cadence. So really, really simple to build these super powerful workflows. But it actually goes a step further, and you can build this in an even simpler way. And what I'm going to do now is show you what this would look like if we wanted to build it in a table view. And this is a table of people that have signed up for our product and their associated company. Now, all I really need is that data, and everything else, all the other questions are really easy to answer. So BasePoint, this imaginary company, is a vendor competitor that sells compliance software. So it'd be really helpful for our team when we're sending out marketing material, when our sales team are getting in touch, to know what compliance these people have. And I can do that by simply setting up a research agent again, but this time it's just going to act on the table and it's going to answer the simple question, are these guys compliant? I can go ahead and run that and it will go off and do that. And just to show you how simple it is to set up from scratch, I'll just do a really quick one here, which goes to get the LinkedIn, the CEO LinkedIn URL. And that's literally all I have to do is just type that name in the column header. It's a research agent. It really doesn't need much more guidance than that. I can create that attribute and we can go and run that too. So that's how easy it is to go and research leads, to go and get all the data you need to then make marketing and sales decisions. You can see that these results are starting to come in now. So we're working out what compliance these companies have. We're also dispatched a swarm of agents to go and look for the founders, the CEO LinkedIn as well. And you can see that these are coming in now. So, that research had been done pretty damn quickly. And off the back of that, I actually set up another workflow earlier, which will create deals for our sales team based on the results of that research. And you can actually see that we're now starting to build a list of leads for our team to target based on those answers that the research agents are going to answer. Beyond that, Attio is a full-fledged CRM. So we have things like email sequencing and reporting, all sorts of things like that, task management, note-taking, etc. And if I just jump into this report that I built earlier, you can see that the reporting is not limited to anything really. And we can report on things like the answers to those questions that we asked earlier in the demo.
First of all, I love this. I've been telling people for years that they don't need to have a million form fields. I'm like, you can use Clearbit and all of these and Zoom Info to find it. And that wasn't necessarily true, a few years ago. And now it's amazing how quickly we can enrich these things. And
Yes.
I love how it does this and then connects to the workflow. So love that. The end of a million form fields, hopefully. But I would love to clarify for everyone here, what is this replacing right now for marketers?
Cool. And so one thing to add to your comment about, lead capture and forms is that not only do you not need to ask that, add that to the form, but these questions can be asked after the fact. So if you decide that you need a bit of information to do better segmentation, you don't even need to look for a data source. You can just ask the agents the question and be very creative, on the fly. Yeah, to specifically answer your question, we vast majority of our customers, we serve about 2,500 companies right now. The vast majority of those will be fast-growing tech companies, and they'll be replacing a Salesforce and a HubSpot, or starting with Attio as their first CRM. And they'll typically use that in conjunction with Segment for getting product data in if they're a PLG company, and then very, very often with Customer IO for doing a transactional emailing and messaging.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nicholas. That was awesome. And I think showed a lot of people what a better CRM can look like. And I'm excited for people to try it.
Yes, it all sorts of go and start a 2-week free trial and use it to your heart's content.
Next up, we have Narrow. This is Narrow's second time presenting at a showcase, if I'm not mistaken. We liked them so much, we asked them back. I also have posted about Narrow on LinkedIn and it got a huge response. People are super excited about this because one of the most hated things as a marketer is making sales enablement content. You don't know what to make. You don't know if it's going to get used. You don't know if you have it already hidden in some folder in some PDF. And so Narrow solves that and a lot more with their AI content platform. So I'm going to let you take it away here. And just so everyone knows, this is Adam Corey, and he is the founder of Narrow.
Love it. I love this idea of what the future of Martech looks like, because that's really what we're talking about here. At Narrow, we think having a place where all of the content that you build for sales is great, but what we think is better is if that library, if that place for everything actually tells you what's missing, tells you how to improve the stuff that you have, and actually helps you build it. So this is Narrow. In 10 seconds, this is where we think of it as like a super search for your salespeople or anyone in your company. So they don't just search the website, search Google Drive, deal with different things in Notion. Everything is in one place. That makes it easy for sales to not only find it, but they can ask questions of stuff. Hey, where's this DAG? Do I have a case study on this? How does this feature work? All of that is right in front of them, either in Slack or inside of Narrow. It also is living outside of Narrow. So if I'm a seller, I want to find content and I don't know what to search for, Narrow just sits there in the background searching for content. And this is going to be really important when we talk about using AI to build content, is for sellers in every customer conversation, we're breaking down that conversation, whether it's an email or whether it's a meeting that they're having, into the topics, questions, pain points that are coming up. And in this case, I'm going to wear my seller hat for a second. I just want to know, do I have anything on this content? Narrow finds the content, makes it easy for me to drop it in. Great. Now I've found what I need as a seller. Fantastic.
Do you think you're sharing your screen right now?
I do.
I liked the talk, but then I was like, I think he probably thinks he's sharing.
Yeah. Everything's here. Library. This is what you were imagining in your head as you saw it. I've looked up how to answer a question or where to find a piece of content. Narrow answers this question. This lives in Slack. And then inside of my email, it's breaking apart the topics, questions, objections that are popping up to me as a seller and finding content for me. So seller never has to search for content to be able to get to it right here. Now, what happens if I don't have content on something or I'm weak in a particular area? This is where Narrow's content gap insights function really starts to shine, which is to say, based on every single conversation that your sales team or your CSMs are having, we're going to break down, find the topics that are coming up, find the pain points, etc. And we're going to score your content to see where are you well supported and where aren't you well supported with. And if I drill into this, let me take a look at every single objection that's come up over the last month. Narrow will automatically categorize this so I can drill into different areas. We can watch for particular competitors. We can look for anything that's coming up in the conversation. But imagine this as you sitting in every single conversation with a pen and paper and note-taking every question, topic that comes up. This is what AI is doing. It's not saving you 10 minutes. It's actually doing something that's impossible for your teams to do. So I'm going to take an example here. Let's drill in and look at some conversations where competitors have come up in recent conversations. What Narrow is doing is it's giving me more detail on how did competitors or how did this particular pain point come up in conversation. And then it's going to search my content library to see, do I have content that can help support that seller or help support that buyer in evaluating your solution for them. So in this case, I'm getting insight into concerns that were about an existing tool. It's going to give me a description of how this buyer talked about it and how the seller was helping to describe and solve this. But more importantly, it's going to come over here and it's going to evaluate the most relevant pieces of content that I have on my website or on Google Drive. In this case, I have 8 pieces of content that kind of help to answer this, but none are fully relevant. None are really focused and none completely address what Megan in this case actually wants to hear about. So Narrow will actually help me build a content brief. So now it's suggesting something that I should do. And it's also giving me other related topics that have come up in previous conversations that I can hop in and kind of go shopping to say, yep, I'd love to write a piece of content or enablement material that addresses all of this. And I'd like Narrow to generate a brief. Now, if I flip over here, I can see a couple of the briefs that I've already built out previously. And so here, what I can look at is, let's take another competitive example where I had it pull out a number of different conversations related to Narrow versus the competitive solution. I've redacted the name of that competitive tool here, but you can see this brief that it built is actually pulling out the questions that I should answer when I sit down to write this content. And it's going to go ahead and give me, based on what's in Narrow today, the type of content that I can help to draft and how I should write it. It's telling me the individual topics that have been addressed, and it can even generate a battle card or enablement content automatically. I have full control over the prompts here. I can create my own templates. So this can build out not only middle funnel blogs, upper funnel blogs, enablement content, handling guides, and the most painful battle cards. So I'll take that as about my 5 minutes.
This is awesome. It's everything you need for sales enablement, from identifying the content to creating it right there if you want to having sales have it live right in their email to pull it up, which is amazing. The question that's coming up in the chat is people want to know who buys Narrow? Who is your typical ICP? What company stage?
Yes. So typically bought by product marketing leaders and CMOs, ideally for companies that are supporting 5 to 10 plus sellers. So at this point, you need help drafting content. You need help kind of controlling the chaos of there are lots of conversations, and you don't want to be behind the 8 ball with, oh, there's conversations that the sales team is having and I don't have updated materials. That's really where we shine. But we're supporting companies up to 100 plus sellers. But really that kind of 10 to 20 on the go-to-market side is really where the pain starts to get acute.
I like this question from Jason. If Narrow makes it really easy to create content briefs and the content itself, are you worried about how this results in large content libraries that are harder for users to navigate?
It's the idea of like, does AI eat AI content and what happens to the future? Really what we like to think about this is moving from static content that nobody's using to more dynamic, updated content. I think the battle card is a really great example. Having a battle card that was built 6 months ago maybe doesn't help me. I probably can't find it. Having a battle card that is taking in live information from conversations that happened today and last week, that's dynamic, that's up to date. That's how you should think about this. Increasing the value, not just increasing the price.
Amazing. And also in context, like in the email, as you showed us, it's showing you the most relevant content. So you're not having to sort through a huge library, I would imagine.
Exactly. Yeah, this is pulling up just the most relevant stuff that's helpful in this moment and also based on prior performance because it's a human loop feedback.
And where else can this show up?
Anywhere alongside your web browser, so you can open up as a side panel Chrome extension, and then it will also, after the calls that sales is having, it will send a little suggestion to say, hey, Emily brought up these 3 things. Here are some good points to mention in your follow-up or the next time you talk, or as you start to build out the overall story for you selling to Emily in this account.
I think so many teams can benefit from having something like this. I know it would have saved me a million headaches and helped me show what's actually needed from the millions and millions of requests I've received in my life for sales enablement content.
Go from ad hoc to data-driven.
It also just seems like a great way to get your marketing and sales team to work better together without having to do, an offsite in Joshua Tree, Thank you so much for doing this a second time. Really appreciate it. All right, let's go to our third presenter. Framer looks and feels like a design tool, but it's actually a no-code website building tool. You can launch sites way faster than you usually can with other tools. And I think for the last couple of years, I've been saying Webflow is the future of website building. And then I saw Framer, and I think I might have been wrong, or I think I might have updated my opinion to say that I think it might be Framer. We have Andreas here. He is a product lead over at Framer, and he's going to show you how to create a page in the tool and also potentially show you some CMS collection stuff so you can make pages faster. And take it away, Andreas.
Great. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. So I'm going to be demoing Framer today. So as mentioned, Framer is a no-code tool to build like really nice running sites and not just design them, but also launch them in a fast and performant way. So here you see Framer, and what you can see already is that it's a very familiar interface if you are coming from, example, Figma. But then you would have this empty canvas, which is kind of scary. And I can show you how actually Framer integrates very well with stuff like Figma. So I've got a Figma template here. And let me just use a plugin where you can copy over your designs from Figma straight into Framer. So with just a couple of clicks, you can copy your whole designs over. You can preview them. So this is your site. It's working perfectly. You can change the text here. And actually you can publish, and boom, your site is live and everyone can visit. So again, super fast. Everything is optimized, familiar for people coming from Figma. And if you compare it to Webflow, for example, where it's easier to learn how to use Framer, you're able to build your own landing page yourself. So if you don't have any designs in Figma and you want to build out your own landing page, we also have some tools there. So basically, we have some pre-made sections where you can drop in existing navigations. We have existing sections. So for example, you can add a header here, and then let's add some content like this. So what you can see already, we add those elements in. Everything is optimized also for responsiveness. So you have a desktop version, tablet version, and a phone version. You can preview again. And this is where you have the first start of your site. And again, if you just publish, it's live within seconds. So super fast. I can actually show you also a larger site. So this is actually the Framer site itself. We have hundreds of nicely designed pages where we have really great animations, videos playing in the background. It's very interactive. So this is the demo of the Framer page itself. So you can see the end result. You can make really stunning websites, fast and performant. Like you can go to use Framer for small sites, but also large sites. We also have a full-fledged CMS. So for example, we have a lot of content in our CMS, thousands of items. And then you can also pretty easily update all these posts or add new posts. You can preview them. This is, for example, a launch that we did yesterday for analytics where we launched a new feature. And again, super fast and super simple. Also, within Framer, we actually launched yesterday an updated analytics. So for all your marketeers in there, you want to know how your content on your site is performing. we have that right built in to Framer. And the nice thing about this is that you don't need to have a cookie banner. You can ditch Google Analytics, actually go straight into Framer to see, for example, how many live visitors you currently have, the visitors that you have last month, which pages are they visiting, where are they coming from, which countries are they coming from, and on which devices they are browsing your site from. And you actually can go even a step further, right? So if you have some UTM campaigns, you can actually track that performance as well. So for example, you have a UTM content campaign with this, you can actually drill deeper into this data. So you see this was live up until November 16th. And then you can see like who were the people that are coming, which are the countries that they're coming from, and everything around that. So that was like a very speedy demo of what you can do in Framer, and there's like lots and lots more, but I only have 5 minutes. So that's where this demo ends. Thanks, everyone.
That was perfect. It was a great overview. I've never understood why tools don't build in analytics and things like that. A couple of questions about SEO, and if you do anything built in to help people with SEO.
Yeah, definitely. So what we do is we take your designs and actually build a site out of this. So in the background, we do a lot of smart stuff by optimizing all your content, all your tags and everything to have it SEO optimized.
Awesome. Next question is, a lot of people are asking about hosting and where Framer fits into the stack there. Help us out.
Yeah, so definitely Framer does host your site. And actually while hosting, we also do all the performance updates in the background. If you're hosting your site on Framer, it's like the best hosting that there is for your site.
If you were, say, switching from Webflow to Framer, what would that process look like?
That's a good question. So we have some tools available, like you can copy HTML to Framer. So we have a plugin where you can have your existing site and you copy over all the elements. That already gives you a good start. We can import CMS. So we have plugins available to import CMS items into your CMS. So a lot of stuff you can automatically do, but there is, of course, always a bit of manual work involved. But we try to take away as much as possible.
Okay, we have time for one more, which is, how does this integrate with things like HubSpot and Salesforce or marketing automation tools?
So we have a form builder, so you can build out your own forms with all the fields that you want, and you're able to send that data to something like Zapier, and Zapier can actually forward it to HubSpot.
Super helpful. As a Figma user, I love that this just kind of looks like Figma. You don't have to toggle back and forth between this view and other views. It's amazing, and I do think this is the future of how we'll build websites. And thanks for showing us and being involved today. I believe that Framer is already in the chat answering some questions, so keep them coming. Now we have Chara, the founder at Revenue Hero. Revenue Hero helps you drive more conversion on your website, enables you to have one-click meeting booking, and they're going to walk through how to import your sales territory mapping for proper meeting routing.
Sharon, marketing, I think you'll ask this question at least once. Hey, why is my sales team taking so long to reply to leads? At any time we've tried automating this, I'm sure you heard this at least once. It's too complicated, the qualification's too difficult, so let's not try and do this, right? So with Revenue Hero, all that goes away. You get all your form fills and meetings from all your channels automatically routed to your sales team, and your prospects get to book a meeting right away, right? So I'm going to walk you through how exactly that gets done. Because it's one thing to say that it's extremely easy to do that. It's a whole other thing actually implementing it. So what you're seeing on screen is, your generic, messy routing criteria. So with Revenue Hero, implementing this to send these meetings to the right team is going to be as simple as creating your territories within Revenue Hero, and boom, it's all. So one of the things you've noticed earlier would be that all these territories can also be imported with a sheet or right from a CRM in or any of those options. So you create your territories in Revenue Hero and just make things a little more fun. We also have specific government domains which should be routed to Pranav and Chara, and one user gets 2 times as many meetings as the other, right? Typical routing criteria. So once you've imported your territories in Revenue Hero,
you're going to be able to set up rules which allows you to route them to the right sales rep while taking into consideration all of those conditions. And setting it up is going to be as simple as adding the folks to whom the meetings need to get sent, set up the weightage, and this is the best part, where if you're collecting countries as part of the farm or enriching them even better, you get to quickly pull up the routing criteria without actually having to type them out one by one or go through, Salesforce flows and all that nightmare. So this can be as sophisticated or as simple as you need it to be. And once you're done configuring this rule, I'm just going to say territories, right? What you're going to do is bring it all together in what we call a router. So this is the journey that your prospects go through, right? They submit a form. Revenue Hero can check your CRM to see if the prospect is already owned by any of the sales reps to make sure that you don't have fist fights going among the AEs saying, hey, I've already been in touch with them. Why did the meeting get routed to somebody else? So at a company level, a contact level, or a lead level, or even based on custom objects, Revenue Hero can store the right owner's availabilities. And if all of that fails, you can then route it based on territories, segments, what have you, based on all the distribution rules, right? And the best part of all of this is, as a marketer, you get complete visibility to how meetings are routed to your sales team, what the outcomes are of each one of those meetings are. And at any point in time, you get to drill down into each one of those outcomes to understand which one of your campaigns are working well, which ones aren't, right? And the end result looks like this, where anytime you have a qualified prospect on your website submitting the form, boom, the scheduler shows up. It's always showing the right owner's availabilities, and the meeting gets booked right then and there. And all this data is synced right back to CRM. The meeting activity is logged, the follow-ups automated, and even the meeting outcome is automatically logged against the activity, right? And this is, of course, across all channels, not just your website. You can have this on your email campaign. They get the meeting booked right away, and everything downstream is automated, right? You can have this on your emails, in-app, on your website, what have you. And what we've seen is just scratching the surface. We've taken care of all the other problems that come with automating scheduling, like calibration, vacation management, no-shows, crediting back for cancellations, and the whole 9 yards, right?
Awesome. Thank you for showing us all of this. I see companies all the time that don't have the instant meeting booking on their website. It drives me nuts. I've written a newsletter about this. It's like one of my early newsletters. I can't stand it. It tanks your conversion. It's bad enough sometimes when you have to book a meeting when you really just want to be jumping into something self-serve, and then to make it hard and have to wait to get an email from a sales rep is ridiculous. And so the future of marketing definitely does not look like that. But I'm like, why doesn't sales want this added? Or like, what's the hurdle? And typically the hurdle is, well, how will it route correctly? Or we have the most complicated routing and territories. I'm pretty sure these tools can handle this at this point, and that you should give them a try. So the biggest objection I get is that, and Revenue Hero handles that gracefully and beautifully, as you showed us. I think the other thing here is, very often we talk about putting these links on the website and pushing for that, but I think it's really amazing to think about just having these in email, and I'm not seeing that quite as often. And it's great that you can put it really anywhere where someone would want to book a meeting to increase conversion rate. So a couple of questions here. One is, how does this play nicely with HubSpot?
Yeah, we in fact look up any of your HubSpot objects to be able to determine ownership. If you already have these prospects, somebody from the company already talking to you, or the same prospect, or some other decision maker talking to your sales rep, we're able to look up all of those properties. And when a meeting gets booked, we're able to update the owner of that meeting as either the contact owner or even as a custom ownership field on your record, because we all know that clean CRMs is an oxymoron. So if you have like an A as the primary owner and SC as a secondary owner, we can even go update that on HubSpot. If you're using Salesforce, then on Salesforce, we got to play nice with all the CRM. So we work with both of them.
Amazing. All right. And last question. There are some competitors in this space. One has a very spicy name. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. You can figure out what the spicy name is. How do you compare? How are you different? Why use Revenue Hero?
Yeah, one is, see, as a marketer, I don't want my prospect to wait on schedulers to load. We have the fastest scheduling experience out there. And I know that that's a bold statement to make, but
It's tried and tested, and I got feedback from a lot of customers. Second is we have the most advanced matching capabilities out there. We can match based off custom objects on Salesforce, any property on HubSpot, and small details like automating meeting outcomes, whether the meeting gets completed, cancelled, or rescheduled. We do it, take care of it all the way. When reminders get sent out of Revenue Hero, they actually get sent out of your own domain and not from reminders at revenuehero.io. Because when prospects book a meeting with you, let's say I book with Riverside, I don't want to see a reminder from spicyscheduler.com because I'm not who I'm meeting with. I'd rather see a reminder from riverside.com. Right? The nuances and all ops heavy lifting is the reason why people switch over to Revenue Hero, apart from a lot of other details like deduplicating activities and so on.
Great. I also hear that you all have the best customer support in the space.
I always assume that's a given, so I don't flex on that. But when customer support is on Slack, you gotta have great support.
Yeah. You can just chat with them on Slack, which is great. Thanks. We're gonna have Unify come up. Unify is an all-in-one workflow tool for outbound and pipeline generation. When you see this, I think you'll understand how all of the tools that you've been hearing about come together to make a really smooth and seamless workflow for managing the outbound process. We have Austin, who is the founder of Unify, and he is going to just show you how to set up an outbound play or sequence in Unify.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Emily.
Yeah.
I think just a quick intro. I'm Austin, one of the founders at Unify. Previously, I was a growth leader as well. I used to be at this company called Ramp. I spent a lot of time thinking about demand generation. The way to think about Unify and what we do in a nutshell is we help turn automated outbound sales into your best performing demand gen channel. Traditionally, I think as growth people, as marketers, we thought a lot about outbound as a job of an SDR team. But with a lot of the advances that are happening with tech today, you actually can emulate a lot of the outbound activities with a piece of software, hence Unify. We actually use Unify today to drive 80 to 100 meetings per month for ourselves. They are by far our lowest CAC meetings that we book. And this play that I'm about to show you about retargeting website intent actually helps us book anywhere between 15 and 20 meetings. These numbers aren't sugar-coated, come out straight out of our Salesforce dashboard. So without that, I'll jump into a quick demo. So what you're looking at right now is Unify, and this is our play builder in particular. You can think about a play builder as doing everything from surfacing up intent signals to enriching companies with contact data to actually writing and sending emails out. And so in this workflow, what I'm going to show you is we actually run a play where when someone visits our website and they're not a current customer, they're not a current sales opportunity, whatever it might be that we don't want to reach out to, we actually go ahead and prospect those accounts automatically with no human in the loop. So really quickly clicking into each of these nodes, the trigger here that we have is website visits greater than 25 employees. You can actually come in here and see how we've configured this trigger. You can actually pull in a myriad of intent signals that we have access to within Unify, things like champion tracking, new hires, G2 intent, website intent, all of that lives here within our audience builder. So this is just scratching the surface, but this is where you define your trigger for automated outreach. The next node here is an AI agent that does account qualification. In particular, we only want to sell to B2B companies. The average VP of marketing at a B2C company does not want to hear about us. And so we're going to go ahead and weed those folks out. I'll show you more about how agents work under the hood in just a second. Once we've qualified an account, we actually go ahead and prospect for new people on that account to reach out to. We both pull contact data from our CRM as well as use our contact data waterfall behind the scenes to find the right people to reach out to. And so what actually happens here is that we've gone out and created data partnerships with a bunch of different folks in our ecosystem. And when you ask Unify for contact data, we actually pull it from all those sources so you get the best coverage and the best accuracy. Recapping really quickly now, what we've got is a trigger. So we've got the people, companies hitting our website, we've got qualified accounts, and we've got people at those accounts. The last step here is we want to go ahead and enroll people into sequence. And so we do that based off of persona routing. And then we also sync that data back to Salesforce here. Super clean and simple. All in, this play just runs in the background. If we wanted to go ahead and see logs, you can actually come in here and see all of the work that's running, and you can actually see all the executions. So really cool to be able to audit the work that's happening in the background. Popping over really quickly, what you'll see here is this is our agent builder. And so one of the features that folks have loved from Unify is our ability to actually go in and use agents to do account research. The way that this works is you just saw it in plays, it's in the workflow builder. But in this case, on the right-hand side, you actually can configure agents to do whatever sort of research that you want to. In this case, we give the sort of guidance we would give to an SDR. So over here, we've got, okay, guidance for who to go after, how to do research on a company about the jobs that they're hiring for. You can see here that we've asked the agent a few questions like, has the company fundraised recently? Does the company have a pricing page on their website? Is this a B2B company, etc.? This agent takes a little while to run because it actually uses the latest and greatest from OpenAI under the hood. But we actually come in here and do account research. I'll come back to this in 1 second, show you some of the results. Lastly, the thing I want to show off is we do a lot of out-of-the-box reporting for you so that you don't have to work with a BI team or work within Salesforce or HubSpot reports to understand what's the impact of Unify. And so out of the box, we give you a few simple attribution models that help you understand the amount of pipeline that you're creating by play, by sequence, so that understanding what knobs you want to be tweaking is super simple and easy. Just a quick final note here on Unify. We actually have found, interestingly, that about half of our buyers today are marketers, and then the rest are sales and founders. And what's really interesting is we're finding a lot of forward-leaning marketing teams leaning into a solution like Unify to spin up a new channel that never really existed before. And so it's been a ton of fun to work with teams. If you're interested in standing up automated outbound, we'd love to talk to you.
Thanks. We have a bunch of questions in the chat around what's the difference between this and tools like Clay and Apollo, and how does it compare to 11x? Take us through that.
It's a really good question. And, the answer is a little bit different depending on which of those solutions we're talking to. Versus the AI SDR category, what's really different about Unify, as you just saw, is every decision is configurable by you. We work with you during onboarding. We have a very white glove process where we help you to build out all that customization. And that's really important to actually finding success. And so that's the biggest difference versus the AI SDR category. There's a ton of other folks on the data side, the Apollos, the Clays of the world, and we actually work really well alongside those folks. And in some cases, we can replace the use cases that they power. And so we're actually customers of both Apollo and Clay at Unify. We use both of their data sets. We'll oftentimes dump it into Unify to do the actual orchestration. And the fact that we work really well with the CRM and we handle all the automation downstream just makes life a lot easier. But we work really well in conjunction with a lot of data vendors.
Right. So those data vendors are pulled in to help enrich the data in Unify, correct? Yeah.
Or even just build a list that we want to go target. We'll build a list of 100 companies, great, dump it into Unify, and Unify can do the contact data waterfalling, the writing to Salesforce, the writing the emails, and the reaching out. So it's that simple.
So my understanding is Unify really helps you build the workflow on top of all of this to actually get the right emails out to the right people at the right time and have that all connect back to Salesforce or HubSpot in the correct ways. Oh, another thing you do that I just like, because I know that people find this cumbersome or confusing or afraid they're going to do this wrong, you also help with deliverability as well, correct?
Yeah, so mailbox warm-up, mailbox creation, IP address management, all of that we actually do natively within Unify, which is a big sticking point for marketers because usually you don't want to be dealing with the outreach instance and trying to figure out how to configure all that for the sellers. We do all of that within our own platform.
Awesome. Yeah, I know people spend a lot of time trying to figure that out and piece together how to do it. So it's great that it's all right there. And then the last question, I like this one from Catherine, is the sequence part of this similar to outreach in where you can integrate call steps into emails?
That's a great question. Today, it is all email focused and we have a Zapier step so that you can actually do a lot of flexible actions with that. We see folks sending data to LinkedIn automation tools, to calling tools, whatever it might be. 2025, one of the big roadmap items that we have coming very soon is to build more step types like calls, LinkedIn messages, all that. So stay tuned for more very soon.
Awesome. Well, if you want an easy way to build workflows on top of some of this data that you're already getting about accounts and contacts, or want to do all of that in one place, check out Unify. They are offering 1 month free on annual deals. And we are on to our last one. We have Riverside. Now, you're all seeing Riverside because we're in it right now, but we're going to bring up Steven, the man from the Riverside website himself. With Riverside, you can create professional quality video and audio content, and then you can actually transcribe, edit, make social clips. So this will be super easy for us to turn into an edited video and turn into social clips till the end of time. And I think in the future, I think we'll be recording a lot more of our conversations, whether you're talking to your CEO and want to be able to use that on LinkedIn and just record those casual conversations, to just making a lot more video content. And I think Riverside's the place we're going to do that. So Steven, take it away.
Thanks, Emily. It's great to present here. And yes, Riverside is going to make it easy to record long form videos, short form, and we're going to basically edit it for you and make it into all kinds of content with just a few clicks. So I record a weekly video podcast as well, and that's what's here in my Riverside dashboard. And when you go into record, I'm actually going to show you, this is the Riverside studio. We're actually all in it presenting for this webinar right now. But the power of Riverside is you get local recording. So no matter the bandwidth, if there's any hiccups live, it's actually being recorded on everyone's device locally, high quality video and audio that's uploaded in the background. So then all your edits and exports look pristine. Plus, we have brand new live streaming tools that are incredibly powerful. You can actually multicast. If you want to live stream to your YouTube channel, your Facebook group, LinkedIn, all at the same time, you can set that up right here in Riverside and both live stream and record in high quality at the same time, all in one place. Plus, as you guys have been using, we have the live chat feature. You can even show comments on screen. And even here on the right, we have things like the media board. You might have heard the Price is Right music at the beginning of this webinar. We played that right inside Riverside where you can play video and audio clips. But what I really want to show you is the powerful tools after you record. And so if I go into one of my past recordings here, if you want, you can download the high quality recording files. You get separate tracks for everyone. So I could download a high quality video, uncompressed audio wave file. And anytime someone shares their screen, you play something from the media board, there's actually separate tracks for all of that as well. These were all screen shares that I did while we were recording our podcast. Now, one of the things built into Riverside is called AI-generated show notes. So every time you record, based on the transcript, which is also every recording is transcribed, you can generate all this text with just one click. Riverside is going to do this for you. You get a summary, takeaways based on the transcript. But my favorite parts is possible title ideas. Many times that's the hardest part of publishing, getting that title out. Sound bites, and even chapter timestamps. So if there was a part of the recording that you want to make a clip of or search the transcript, we tell you the timestamps with the topics. That's all automatic. And one of the most powerful features of Riverside is called Magic Clips. So with one click, I can choose how long I want these clips to be, what speaker to focus on, and I can even type in a topic that I want these Magic Clips to focus on and generate multiple batches. And this is going to create vertical videos of my content. You can get about 7 or 8 clips per hour of content. And you'll see all these clips right here, all these vertical clips or magic clips or the clips that I generated. And it means you can have content you can post every day across multiple platforms. And that's going to generate for you in just a few seconds with animated captions, and you can add image overlays and more. Then if you jump into the Riverside editor, this is actually what the editor looks like. It's incredibly user-friendly. We tell people if you can edit a Word document, you can edit video and audio. If you want to cut something from this clip, I just select the text and click delete, and I've actually edited my video and audio content that simply. But we also have a ton of AI tools here in the editor. Our set pace feature lets you remove silences, but not just all silence. You can choose how much silence if you want a faster pace for like a TikTok or YouTube short. You can also remove all filler words with a single click. Magic Mute will mute others when they're not speaking. And Magic Audio uses AI to make any microphone sound studio quality. And plus, Riverside has apps for iPhone, Android, and iPad. So even if someone just has their Riverside app on their iPhone, like the CEO or leadership of the company, they can open the Riverside app, record in high quality, and Magic Audio is going to make it sound incredible. If I want to reformat this into a vertical clip, one click, and I've already done that. And this will be a vertical clip, overlays me and my co-host, or I can go back to widescreen, all right here in the Riverside editor, happening instantaneously. And a newer feature that's really exciting is under the layout, you can choose smart scenes. And what that does is that's actually going to automatically cut between the speakers when they're talking. And in those in-between moments, when two people are talking, you'll actually see both on screen. So it is now edited for you as if you had a full editor, a full producer, focusing on one participant or the other. And if you want to go back in and change who's on screen, you can do that too. And we can add scenes, add chapters, and all of that. So you can see it's focusing on my co-host and then back to us. And another feature we've added recently is a zoom and crop. So if you need to zoom in on someone because the camera was a little off and reframe them right here, you can do that all in the Riverside editor. And this is all non-destructive. So I can create a clip and then I can create another one and have the full recording. Then I can go over here, add some animated captions, even save my favorite styles. Then I can also do image overlays and text overlays. You can search for royalty-free images right here in the Riverside editor, do text overlays all right here. And when I'm ready, I can export a 4K video file right here, or jump over to audio, export an MP3 file for like a podcast host. And Riverside has done it all in just a few clicks making you able to repurpose all your video and audio content lots of different ways.
Amazing. I can tell that you are the official demo person for Riverside and why you earned your place in the hero of the website. That was awesome. A lot of people want to know what camera you're using. So tell us what camera you're using.
I'm personally using a Sony a7 IV mirrorless camera, 35mm lens if you're curious, and that's going through an ATEM video switcher, which also works with Riverside and is pretty cool too. Well, if you go to youtube.com/RiversideFM, and I talk about gear, my setup, and all of that.
All right. Well, you can go watch that. Maybe we'll even add it to the doc, his gear setup. The other big question was about live streaming, and I know you mentioned it, but it is super easy. Like if I want to just live stream this right now for the last minute, I could click on the live recording section and just immediately pop it onto my LinkedIn. So it's great for that. And the best reason to use Riverside is just the quality. It asks you at the beginning, are you wearing headphones or not? And all of this is because they want to make sure they're getting your audio in the best possible way. I think there's a whole marketing campaign you could do about, are you wearing headphones? I had never used it before a live event until today. I am very pleased. It's working just as well as all of the other event tools, and I can just make all of those clips afterwards. I would love to ask you one question besides about your setup, which is like the main question because you just wowed us. People want to know if you can edit existing videos in the Riverside editor or it's only videos that have been recorded in Riverside previously.
You can actually upload video and audio tracks to your Riverside dashboard and you get the transcript. You can still do magic clips. You can still use our editor, but you don't get the separate tracks that you get when you record with Riverside. So if you want to have you and another person and be able to quickly reformat like a vertical clip like I showed you, it really benefits to record with Riverside, and then you get all those powerful tools too.
But if you just learned about it today and you have some videos from the past, you can do the separate track, separate video thing is amazing. Like if you've ever recorded something in Zoom and then try to edit it, it's a nightmare. So highly recommend it. I also am using it for my podcast, Shameless Plug, that's launching in January. We're doing all the recording in here too. So that is it. Thank you everyone for coming today and for RCPing in a busy month. Thank you to all of our presenters. I hope you got a glimpse of what the future of Martech looks like. It's already here and how much easier your lives are going to be in 2025 and beyond. Look out for my newsletter next week with the recording and check out those discount codes of the presenter interview. And in the chat, we have discounts for all of these. And I appreciate everyone's support of Market One, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks. All right, Stephen, play the outro music.